over today.
Haiti Tautua'a will serve for the Panthers, and an ace as we are underway. That's such a tough decision because, it was dialing right at that line.
It was, and what a great serve from Haiti Tautua'a. Another setter from Hawaii for this Panthers team.
That one the same area, just a little deep. It's 1-all. First opportunity to serve for High Point. We're glad you're with us here. Panthers are home again on Wednesday. High Point goes home on Friday. Well, they'll go home before that, but they'll play at home on Friday. Point to High Point. Rahina Tiharia. A good serve from Tiharina. And a wind-up, and on the line, Olivia Babcock. Panthers like that line.
They do, and Babcock has been such a great hitter for this Panthers team. Coming in as a freshman, so poised, such a great player, and it looks like we're already going to have an early challenge.
And that happened right in front of the High Point bench. So you would think Ryan Meek had a good view of that play. Ryan Meek, you mentioned in his 6th year, 12th head coach in High Point history. He's an assistant at Creighton for 2 years, 5 years the head coach at Hendrix College, which is a D3 school in Arkansas. He's the National Coach of the Year while he was there. And he's someone that grew up in California, kind of played at Simi Valley, then coached Simi Valley, and has worked his way up into this position and done a really nice job with this High Point program.
Yeah, High Point, a team, as we mentioned, made the NCAA tournament last season. Unfortunately, fell to USC in that first round, but very successful, 23-10, 14-2 in the Big South Conference. So a team that knows how to win and find success. And
we've seen this with Dan Fisher, but the importance of having good California connections for both of them. Obviously, California guys. Dan Fisher, I don't know if there are enough superlatives we could say of what he's done with this Panther program. 265 wins, just 64 losses. He signed recently a contract extension through the 2027 season. And Pitt's got a brand new state-of-the-art facility that's going to open in a couple of years that some of these freshmen will get to play, hopefully, 2 years in.
I can't wait for that facility to be built. As we see, it was actually out. So what was a 2-2 score will now turn into a 3-1 score in favor of High Point.
Tiharina just 5'2", but one of the leaders of this team, 110 digs this year. Another solid serve. Babcock blocked. We'll try her again. And a good dig by High Point. Mabry's kill attempt dug. Barry again, and that one's out.
Great swing attempt there from Dylan Mayberry. And she really is one of the leaders on this team. A lot of turnover for this High Point team, a lot of transfers coming in, a lot of freshmen. But Dylan Mayberry was named the preseason player of the year and all-conference team for the 2nd year in a row.
And she originally came from LSU. And into the net, I believe, was High Point, or double hit. I couldn't tell which, but either way, it's Panther
illegal
point.
Contact, as the setter for this High Point team is not, Allie Gray is in the back row right now, so she's not allowed to touch the ball when it's over the net. And so when Emma Monks went up for it, she also was contacting it, which is an illegal play.
Mayberry's tip is perfect. What a good recognition from Mayberry.
Great decision. She had that big block in front of her, knowing that she has that double block that leaves some space right behind it, and the Panthers just got caught flat-footed, not really ready for that tip attempt from Mayberry.
Another solid serve, and Shot from the middle by Monks is wide. 5-3 High Point. Okay, Willock serving. Just a freshman already with 90 digs and an ace. Her 7th of the season. Excuse me, 15th of the season. And the Panthers take an early timeout. The Pitt Panthers do, down 6-3, Amanda.
Not quite the start that we saw from the Panthers last night. They really came out firing on all cylinders. They're still actually looking for their first kill of the afternoon. All 3 of their points have come in other ways, not with getting a kill and terminating the ball. So I think a little bit of a sloppy start, you could say. I mean, they were so successful last night. Played at 7 last night, got finished right around 8:30, turn around, and we came here at 11, but they came out probably they were practiced this morning, I'm sure, a little bit just to get loose, but then they really only came out at noon. So, but a lot of what has happened is their own errors, but you have to credit what High Point has done. I mean, we just saw the ace. Mayberry has 2 kills already on 4 attempts, so High Point is doing exactly what they want to do. Now the Panthers need to start getting into their game if they don't want to see this first set get away from them too far.
One of the advantages, I think, for Pitt is because of their depth, they can try different combinations. Like, let's see who's really zoned in here today, and they're probably going to figure that out through that first set. And I think Dan Fisher's still trying to figure that out for the season, who works well with whom. There's still one more non-conference matchup before they travel to Duke, an opportunity, and maybe some adversity isn't necessarily a bad thing for the Panthers, for the Pitt Panthers today. Willock will continue to serve with High Point up 6-3. 6-5 on the season are the High Point Panthers. And a rare error from High Point early in this match, serve long.
And that's what we like to call a point for Coach Fisher there, calling the timeout, and then the server immediately hitting the ball out. So a great timeout call there, but we will have to see what the Panthers do coming out of that timeout offensively.
Emma Monks, the Michigan State transfer. Mayberry. And touched. And you saw the resignation on Dan Fisher's face.
Yeah, that's one that, I mean, Emma Monk's not obviously a back row player, a middle blocker, and after she serves, she has to play defense, and that one was sailing out, and she just kind of got stuck, and that also just sailed very far out from Mayberry.
So a couple of errors on each side.
Yeah, so not quite a clean game to start here, Jeff.
If you haven't seen Pitt play this year, Olivia Babcock to serve. IT set. Stafford is blocked. Stafford tips, and nice save by Vasquez Gomez after the good shove by High Point.
An illegal touch there by Olivia Babcock. She was in the back row in that play, so she's not allowed to jump in front of the 10-foot line and contact the ball. So what we saw there was her jumping, and she was stepping on the 10-foot line and going forward. So an illegal back row attack.
A Pitt tip, and from the back but into the net, error by High Point. Well, it kind of feels like the start of a Sunday afternoon match. When team plays Saturday, another one has to make a long trip. Stafford serve is in. This is a KO is in. Good dig by Stafford. A KO. Vasquez Gomez is blocked at the net. Ella Grassen.
Bailey Sparks in on that block as well. High Point doing a really great job of seeing where the ball is going, staying true, and waiting until the ball gets set to move, and then they're finding themselves in a great spot for the block attempt.
Yeah, my bad. That's called there. Vasquez Gomez's tip is dunked. And there is Sparks again, and the Panthers take a second timeout. We will as well. It's High Point 10, Pitt 6. We're back with more NCAA volleyball here in the first set in Pittsburgh. This match.
I said it when they had 3 points, and now they have 6 points and still waiting for that first kill, which is essentially the exact opposite of what we saw last night.
It's why you play the game, because you just don't know. High Point to serve, up 4. And middle kill. Rachel Jepson in the middle.
And Rachel Jepson came into the game on Thursday night against Oregon and really created a spark for this Panthers offense. So great to see her being able to come in and do that same thing again for this Panthers team, picking up their first kill and getting them back into this match, now down 3.
Let me click on the serve. And a service error for the Panthers. It's the second for Pitt. They just try to get a little momentum going, and then you turn it right over. Jordan Schilling serve for High Point. And a hit by Juliana Dalton. (11-8) High Point. Opportunity, left-handed swing from the right side. Jade Shelton puts that away.
Shelton, one of those newer players for this High Point team, coming from New Mexico State. The right side lefty swing, a lot different than what you would typically see.
Vasquez Gomez, dug. And that time it's Babcock and Tijerina unable to dig that one. The kill here for the Panthers, now with 3 and trailing by 3 here in the first set. Vasquez Gomez to serve. And just long is Vasquez Gomez.
And you talk about going on a serving run. Last night, Jeff, the Panthers were able to go up 16-1 on James Madison, all from the arm of Valeria Vasquez Gomez. They're lucky for High Point as they were able to get that one to go long and then serve and turning it right back. And those are things, if you're High Point, you can't do. As you have a lead against the number 8 team in the country in the Pitt Panthers, when they hand you a free point, you absolutely cannot give one right back to them.
Dylan Griffin to serve for the Panthers. 2 aces on the season. Mayberry blocked. This time they'll try right side. That's blocked. Mayberry digs. And her kill attempt is wide.
And now we see a timeout from High Point as they don't want to see the lead that they have built go away, but it's really been about what they haven't been able to do is keep the momentum on their side.
13-11 High Point as we continue. It's NCAA Volleyball here from the University of Pittsburgh. High Point leads at 13-11. Dylan Griffin will continue to serve for the Panthers after the High Point timeout. High Point NCAA tournament last year, had to play at USC. Mayberry, kill is down, and serve goes back, and the lead goes back to 3.
As we knew we would see Mayberry touching the ball early and often, now 9 attack attempts with 4 kills, but going with 3 errors as well.
Mayberry's serve is just long. Olivia Babcock back serving for the Panthers. Trailing by 2, looking for a run to take the lead for the first time here. And hit is wide, point Panthers. And when Olivia serves, it's almost like being at a fireworks display to hear the oohs and ahs from the crowd.
And when you have a successful top spin serve, it's very difficult. You basically just have to let the ball do all the work. So you put your arms in the spot that they need to be, and then the ball will do all the work.
Good dig. Tijarina. Stafford on the other side, hits it through the block. And the Panthers are back even with the Panthers. Sorry, we're going to do this all day.
The Panthers in blue and the Panthers in white.
And that one just didn't dive enough. Panther service error, and High Point has the lead right back at 15-14 here. First set in Pittsburgh.
And that's also 4 service errors for each team here, just in the first set. Definitely not how each coach drew it up to start.
And that hit long by Stafford. Stafford believes it was touched. It's kind of like that 9 a.m. AAU match where you're just getting up. You got the first match of the day, and it's just not all there. Kind of feels that way, more so for Pitt, but High Point at times too. And there's some miscommunication there by the Panthers as High Point's lead grows back to 3.
But the big thing is that Coach Fisher already called both of his timeouts, so this is going to have to be something that the players on the court figure out on their own.
KO set, put down by Stafford.
And that's a player there that can really figure it out and figure it out well in Tori Stafford.
Now Stafford to serve. And an ace for Stafford, the freshman from Torrance, California, her 4th ace of the season.
And Jeff, you talk about an impressive freshman class. This freshman class for the Panthers ranks 8th in the country, the highest freshman class, recruiting class that is, coming in, as we see a second ace.
The little assist.
And we're seeing right now exactly why they are as highly ranked as they were coming in. And we've mentioned Haiti Tautua'a, who's another freshman in this class as well.
High Point, we're going to get it back in their favor. Mayberry and
again, we've seen it twice for the Panthers, but an illegal back row attack from Mayberry as she stepped on that 10-foot line. And if you are a back row player, you have to step behind it, and then you can jump and land inside of that 10-foot line area. But illegal back row attack called on High Point.
So instead of point to High Point, Panthers have an 18-17 lead. Vasquez Gomez blocked. She'll knock that one over, and a dump right in the middle, a shove in the middle. That's Allie Gray. And Gray will now serve at 18-all here in the first set.
Great job by Allie Gray there, just taking control of that play. It was a tighter pass, and that gave her the opportunity to hit that ball.
And a tip. Great dig by Tiarina, but High Point unable to get it back over. 19-18 Pitt Panthers, and Emmy Klicka to serve. Oh, that was a great dig by Tiarina.
And that's one of those times where, as a player, you really pat yourself on the back, but then you're like, man, if only it actually could have got us a point.
Tip that time by Mayberry. And another tip by the Panthers. And High Point able to get it over. KO sets the middle. And Emma Monks finishes it. Now the Panthers with their largest lead at just the right time for Pitt, and High Point is going to call a timeout. So, Amanda, what have we seen better here from the Pitt Panthers, or is it just as much where High Point's made a couple of errors and Pitt has avoided a couple of errors recently?
Well, Pitt is finally actually getting kills in this match. So we went a while without seeing a kill. It was really all about the errors that High Point had. So the Panthers are starting to slowly pick things up offensively, but it also has been the errors of High Point that are really coming at key times. We've talked about hitting the ball out of bounds. We talked about serving the ball out of bounds, all of those things. And then they've kind of got into a tipping match with the Panthers, and that's definitely not the game that the Panthers want to play, but also not the game that High Point wants to play. As we talked about with Dylan Mayberry and Christine Graff, those are the players that are going to swing and swing often. And so far, Christine Graff has been held in check. Only 1 kill on 5 attack attempts compared to Mayberry, who already has 4 kills with 11 attempts, but Mayberry has not been efficient as she has 4 errors to go along with those 4 kills.
Yeah, and those two came into this match combining for 860 attempts between the two of them. Obviously, they want Graff to get a little bit more involved here, and they're still in this set. They come in big underdogs against the Pitt Panthers and trailing by 2 here in the first set. Emmy Klicka to serve for the Panthers. Stafford and Dalton with 2 kills each for Pitt, 4 for Mayberry to lead all. And that blocked out of bounds. A nice hit by High Point by Graff.
Just talked about her as needing to really figure out a way to get involved in this game, and that's exactly how you do it. Get a nice high set to her on the outside so she can do what she does best.
Tipped right back. Vasquez Gomez swing. Puts it right in front of Tijarina, and the Panthers up 21-19. Pitt Panthers up 21-19.
And that's a redshirt senior swing right there. Valeria Vasquez-Gomez, knowing that her team was kind of in a sloppy rally there, and then just taking charge, putting the ball down so that her team can get through this first set and really try to improve as we go along in this match.
Tautua'a. That's that serve in. Mayberry, good dig by Klicka. From the back, blocked. And blocked again, but out of bounds.
Jeff, I've been really impressed with the net play of High Point. They've gotten a lot of touches on a lot of the swings from the Panthers, and we obviously saw that early as they were waiting for their first kill for a while. But a great job of really slowing things down and helping their defense on the back end.
Pitt's first 3-point lead of this set. That is blocked and dunked down by Mayberry. And High Point gets the serve with arguably their best server, Rahina Tijerina. And she sails it long. 23-20 Pitt, with Vasquez-Gomez now serving for the Pitt Panthers.
And you mentioned arguably the best server on the side for High Point. Now you have one of the best servers for the Panthers. The Pitt Panthers, that is.
15 aces on the season. Doug, and that will attempt in the middle, does get over, but it sets up Tori Stafford for a kill, and now set point for Pitt. It's a great save, and unfortunately for High Point, a really nice set for Stafford.
And that's just the out-of-system play coming in big for the Panthers.
Net serve. Mayberry is blocked at the net, and a point for the Pitt Panthers. And after trailing for the most part,
we won't say it on our television broadcast, though.
Jordan Schilling to serve for High Point. And Babcock blocked, but out of bounds. Point to the Panthers.
And that's a much more positive start to the second set than it was the first there, with a kill already on the board for the Panthers. And Babcock now with just her second kill of the afternoon.
Had 10 last night against James Madison. Vasquez-Gomez, as you mentioned earlier, had that service run for Pitt. She continues to serve. Served out the first set and hasn't moved. And tip dug by Stafford. Babcock wanted it again, and off the arm of Allie Gray. Did you hear her kind of clapping like, hey?
I'm also glad that was off the arm of Allie Gray, because for a second I thought it was going to be off of the head of Allie Gray. But again, strong net front presence for this High Point team, as they are not making it easy for these Panthers hitters.
And kill in the middle for High Point. Bailey Sparks, just a redshirt freshman from Colorado.
One of the few players that stayed on this High Point team, as we talked about, they had a lot of transfers and freshmen come in.
And that one, what are we calling here? Blocked out of bounds. It is High Point point. Rahina Tijerina to continue to serve, now at 2-all here in the second set. She's third in the WAC last year in digs was Tijerina, and you could see her style. She's not giving up on anything. She's diving for everything. Tori Stafford with the kill, and the Panthers get the serve back. Emma Monks to serve.
Tijerina might only stand at 5'2", but she can really cover a lot of ground on the court, Jeff.
27 times last year she was double figures in digs, as the serve into the net by Monks. Let's see Klicka come in for Emma Monks.
And those small errors that both teams really just need to clean up. I mean, you talk about it at the service line. That's one of the times where it's really just you, and you need to really handle your business, and we haven't seen that so far really from either team.
And that one blocked at the net off of Babcock's arm. Dylan Mayberry with her first block of this match. Babcock dug that time. And the tip is perfect by Mayberry. And Willock continues to serve, and a run here for High Point. Just a freshman. Willock has been a big part of what High Point is doing. Stafford's hit is long. Now the Panthers take a timeout after this run here from High Point of 4 straight.
And just like we saw early on in the first set, the Panthers really just hurting themselves here in the second set. Again, High Point playing really strong at the net, but a lot of errors from the Panthers early on.
For High Point, you're playing your third-ranked team. It's been 3-0, but you got to feel like you're learning something here. Like I'm sure that they're seeing growth on the High Point side, and Ryan Meek, as we mentioned, a lot of work before this match to get ready for this matchup with Pitt.
And this High Point team, actually, they took a set from Minnesota in their first of 3 straight matches against ranked opponents. They took the first set against Minnesota, did lose 3-0 to Creighton, and now here in Pittsburgh. And as we said, the Panthers picking up a big victory last night, but this is also their 3rd match in 4 days, which is not typically something that you see. A lot of times in college volleyball, especially within the ACC conference, mostly what you see is Friday and Sunday games, and then you might have a midweek game, but if you don't play again until that next Friday. So you have a lot more time in between games. So I think what we're seeing is maybe a little bit of fatigue, but both teams, I think, need to clean up play, but in particular, the Pitt Panthers, as High Point is really taking care of what they need to. And so far with Shillock, she's really doing a great job of getting the Panthers off balance and out of system here with her serve.
And middle kill by Rachel Jepson. You know, these two schools met last year at High Point. High Point took a set in that matchup. Again, teams change every year, but so maybe some confidence from High Point. Like, hey, we took one, we could go up there and play, and they have not been afraid. They've been aggressive and just long on the serve by Babcock.
That looked like it might.
2 that were just danced with the line.
Thought it might fall right on there, but just long.
Now 7-4. It's this 3-point lead we saw in the first set from High Point. Mayberry's serve. And now Jepson in the middle is blocked. They'll try right side, and almost swinging like 180 down on that is Tori Stafford.
And that's a tough ask from Christine Graff to go up against the strong, very strong swing of Tori Stafford.
And now Stafford to serve with the Panthers down 2, up a set. Back set for Vasquez Gomez. And Vasquez Gomez again tipped and out of bounds.
And kind of a weird play in the middle of that. Vasquez Gomez looked like she was going to go up and hit that overpass, but then on the way down kind of just tipped it up.
Vasquez Gomez, just an easy knockover. And a little bit of a somewhat slide by Eve Wilson. Probably more just moving to get to the best part of that, but still effective for High Point, a 2-point lead.
And also caught the Panthers' block a little bit off guard there, and not really able to set up well.
Now Wilson to serve. Vasquez Gomez the kill. Vasquez Gomez now with 4 kills. Stafford leads with 5. Mayberry leads the match with 6. Click a serve. And that set just a dig just a little too far, and right in the middle is Emma Monks.
And that's the way that you want to handle an overpass. You don't want to give your opponent any chance to get that ball up, and that's exactly what we saw there. Emma Monks just slamming it down inside the 10-foot line.
Another good serve. Mayberry from the back. And middle blocked. I think that was Graff that was in on that block.
Graff and Bailey Sparks in on that as well. And the Pittsburgh Panthers setters are doing a good job of moving the ball around, but I think sometimes you can the High Point Panthers might be able to tell where that set is going.
And an ace from Allie Gray, a transfer from Arizona State, and 10-8 High Point. Dalton's hit is long. No tip. 3-point lead for High Point.
And this has really been the sequence here in the second set. Pretty even, then High Point takes the lead. The Panthers come back. Then another 3-point lead, and back and forth we go.
Vasquez Gomez. And point Panthers.
In that instance, they did not give Alexis Akeo a chance to set the ball. So the ball had not crossed over in order for Alexis to have a chance to set it. And you can see that Ryan Meek is definitely questioning that play.
So while he talks to the official, we've got a pause in action. Panthers hitting 146 so far for this match. High Point at 111. Each team with 12 digs. But it's High Point leading 4 blocks to 1.
As I mentioned a couple times, very impressive what they've been able to do at the net so far.
Heidi's serve. And that kill attempt blocked. Mayberry just couldn't get enough of it to get it over. And an error for High Point. Panthers within a point. Tautua'a to serve. Trying to tie this second set up for Pitt. And that attempt stuffed by the Panthers off the Gray hit, or Graff hit.
And that's what we have been accustomed to seeing from this Panthers block. Coming into Thursday's match, they were leading the NCAA in blocks per set at 3.3, and so far haven't seen that big block.
Good dig. Vasquez Gomez. And a tip dug by Klicka. A near kill from Vasquez Gomez. And block at the net goes out of bounds. Boy, good hustle on both sides, but High Point scrapping it out for everything here in this match. Now Schilling to serve. Sophomore. Schilling serve and point to Pitt. Kill in the middle by Emma Monks.
It's really hard defensively to get ready whenever you get that great pass on the other side and then that quick set. Very hard on that first ball.
Dug by Schilling, and a kill in the middle. Bailey Sparks in the middle.
Bailey Sparks really just able to pick her spot there. Not really much of a block up, so she could kind of take a look at the whole court and be able to pick out where she wanted to hit that ball.
Stafford gets it over. Opportunity here for High Point. Lefty swing blocked by Monks and Stafford. Blocked again by Monks, but into the net.
And over top of the net was Monks. So the same thing that we just saw a couple of points ago. She did not give High Point a chance to set the ball, and the ball did not cross over the plane of the net.
Tijerina serving with High Point up a couple. And a kill for the Panthers. It's now 1 point, Olivia Babcock. With just her 4th kill, it's 14-13. And Kat Flood is in to serve for the Panthers. First time we've seen her in this match today. A senior from Illinois. And that kill attempt is long by Eve Wilson. 14 all.
And really just back and forth with a number of errors for both of these teams. No one's really been able to take control.
Flood serve, dug by Schilling. And blocked. Babcock and Jepson were over there. I think it was Babcock got most of that.
And now that makes 2 blocks here in this second set for the Panthers. And they've been able to kind of start to have more of that net front presence.
15-14 Pitt here in the second set. Panthers took the first set. Back with more action here from the University of Pittsburgh. .30 run for the Pitt Panthers. Kat Flood continues to serve. It is 15-14 Pitt after a 25-20 first set in favor of the University of Pittsburgh. Swing blocked and point for Pitt. Stafford in on that block.
And just like that, we're knotted at 4 blocks apiece for these teams. The Panthers block coming alive here in the latter half of this second set.
Waiting for Dan Fisher to point up at us. 2-point Pitt lead now, after it was a 3-point High Point lead. Flood set. That hit his block. Babcock wants it again, and she's blocked again. Mayberry
She wanted to get in on some of the blocking action. It can't be all the Pitt Panthers. The High Point Panthers wanted to come back with a big block of their own, and who better than Dylan Mayberry?
That was an impressive block against a freshman that's doing some really big things for Pitt. Stafford comes up and kills.
And there's an impressive freshman.
A dig. Kill. Yes, she is very good. You know, for High Point, some good young players as well. Eve Wilson. It's Alexis Akeo to serve. Schilling's a freshman. Anna Wilson. And kill right in the middle, Rachel Jepson.
That one was legal. She waited for that ball to come over on top of the net, and then Allie Gray had no chance.
What allows Rachel Jepson to be an impact? We saw it in this match. We saw it in the Oregon match. What is it that she does that, I mean, she's not an overly vocal. What about her game has helped the Panthers?
I really think it's a matter of just like a different type of energy coming in. I mean, she is just a different type of player. She is very athletic, very quick. She has a really quick swing. She is able to move side to side. We've seen her get a number of blocks, but it really, I think, is just about her energy and the type of person that she is that creates that different kind of vibe in the front row at times that the Panthers might need that.
How unique is it for Pitt? Every team has depth that they believe in. Most of the time that depth are young, unproven players. But you've got a Wokolo. You've got, well, Fairbanks is not playing more due to injury, but you can bring a Juliana Dalton off the bench. I mean, you have options that have played a lot of volleyball at a high level. And
I think that's almost the problem that the Panthers have had early on. And it's hard to say that they have problems because they're currently sitting with a 7-2 record and they're 8th in the country. But it's really what they're working on right now is figuring out who works best together and in what situations. So what setters work best with which hitters? And then you also have to account for there's multiple hitters that are in the equation at that time. So it's really a matter of figuring out who works best with who passes well next to one another. Those are all things that you have to take into consideration, and you kind of have to do a little bit of give and take depending on what you need most, whether it's offense or defense.
And you mentioned setters. Of course, you bring in Alexis Akeo, graduate student, 8th most assists in Panther history, and that's someone you could go to in a pinch.
It is, and it's a luxury, really, that the Panthers have. They're just trying to work out the kinks and figure out, again, which players work best next to each other.
And blocked by Stafford, but out of bounds. So High Point, and Eve Wilson gets the kill. So Dylan Mayberry to serve. High Point down just 2 here in the second set. Mayberry with 6 kills to lead High Point, and a swing by Stafford. Boy, she has that hop. Now Logan Mosley gets in for the first time for the Panthers, Pitt Panthers.
I thought we might see Mosley here just kind of giving some of the Panthers front row players a little bit of a break in the back row. And I mean, that's no discredit to Mosley, a grad student coming in from
Tech, yeah.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, very familiar with this Panthers program. Last season played in 29 matches, had 196 digs. So a really great player coming in. And again, that luxury of having someone like that.
And a kill right at her feet. Graf is someone they need to come on, and she's had a couple of big points here in this second set. Debbie Eckensberger, a little deep on that serve. 3-point lead for Pitt at 20-17. And now Emmy Klicka, the junior from Ohio, who will do everything for you and is really, over the last couple of matches, been huge in how she's dug opportunities out. Vasquez Gomez. And point to High Point right in the middle.
Yeah, Jeff, you mentioned Emmy Klicka. She had her career high 24 digs on Thursday night against Oregon. Another great performance last night, just didn't have as many touches on the ball. But she's really steadied that back line defensively for the Panthers.
Junior Allie Gray. High Point down 2. Kill in the middle by Emma Monks. It's her 4th. Go with a couple of blocks. Tautua'a to serve for the Panthers, up 3 and up a set. Lefty swing. Dug by Tautua'a, and a kill for Vasquez Gomez.
And a great job by Logan Mosley that we mentioned coming in a few points ago, setting up that play. So she had to use her arms, set the ball up, put it in a great spot on the outside for the attack attempt.
And a free ball here for Pitt. And Panthers take advantage on the Emma Monks kill.
And that's what you want to do, really, if you're either team. If you get a free ball over, there's no way that your opponent should have a chance to return it.
So a 3-0 run at the critical time of this set. That kill blocked and in. Babcock and Monks in on that block.
The two of them have been a really great blocking tandem, between Monks and Babcock. It's a very formidable block up front. Babcock standing at 6'5", and then Monks at 6'4". That's a lot of height in front of you.
Kind of get the sense that High Point trying to slow this down a little bit. 24-18 Pitt, and serving for the set. Vasquez Gomez does it. 5 straight points to end the second set.
It's beautiful and a great recruiting tool and just a great asset for all of these players to have.
We're underway here in the third set, and kill to High Point to start off here. Jade Shelton, the senior from California. And her 110 kills one season at New Mexico State. Now Regina Tijerina. And big swing. And through the block by Babcock.
Babcock says, I see your kill, and raised you one there to start here in this third set. And that's going to be key for both teams to see if they can get going offensively early, as we haven't seen that in the first 2 sets.
I wonder what percentage of recruiting budgets are spent in California.
I'd say a good bit.
And that block in the middle. Monks was in on that.
Not a player from California there.
4th kill. There was an argument the other day amongst the Steelers who had the best high school football players, where Florida and Texas were big. I think volleyball, California's really strong team they could put together. And in on the hit from Babcock. I think it's kind of what's been cool in the Pittsburgh area is to watch the interest in volleyball explode because of the success of the University of Pittsburgh. And an ace for Vasquez Gomez. Yeah, this program has really captured the city, and a challenge for High Point. First blush, I thought it was in.
And that's the thing with Vasquez Gomez's serve, is it's a float serve, but it basically just hits a wall and dies. So you see it, the ball going, and you think, oh, that's going to sail, and then the next thing you know, the bottom just falls out and that ball drops. So we'll take a look here.
As they take a look at that. High Point comes in 6-5. They get Radford at home on Friday.
And that was a very quick review showing that it was in. So interesting, though, because Coach Ryan Meek is almost sitting exactly at that end line, Jeff. So he had a clear view on it and immediately went over to that card. So that just shows you the type of serve that Vasquez Gomez has. So difficult at times.
20-plus win seasons have become a standard for High Point under Meek. Really nice job with this program. That block falls in. Emma Monks.
And make that 7 blocks now for the Panthers. Really starting to get rolling offensively, but really what propels this Panthers offense is their defense, Jeff. They really, when they're playing strong at the net and getting touches, not necessarily getting blocks, but at least getting touches, slowing down the ball for their defense, that's when their offense can be its most dominant.
And now Monks in the middle with a kill. So the Panthers had been off, the Pitt Panthers have been off to slow starts in these first and second sets, not so much here in the third.
No, and that's exactly what I was just saying, that their offense is really propelled by their defense. When they can have a great transition from having the ball on their opponent's side to getting it back onto their side, and they can use the advantage of the type of hitters that they have with the athleticism that they have, that's when they can really get going, and when you can be nervous if you're an opponent, and you can just ask James Madison, as they found out in the third set when they were down 16-1, and you know who was serving during that time, Jeff? Valeria Vasquez Gomez.
Another good crowd here at the University of Pittsburgh. This is a special day for assistant coach for High Point, Kevin Berger. Berger is a Duquesne grad and volunteer assistant at Duquesne, and now with High Point after bounced around just a little bit, but enjoying this opportunity here with High Point. Cool for him to come back. The Duquesne campus is 2 miles away from the Pitt campus. So you see High Point, they're just looking to get something going in their direction. And there's got to be a feeling of like, man, we had it, especially the first set.
And in the second as well, there was multiple times where they had that 3-point advantage. But the thing is, Jeff, they couldn't get past just having a 3-point advantage. The largest lead I believe they've had in all of their sets has been 3. They never could get it to that 4 where the Pitt Panthers are starting to panic and inch it up any higher than 3.
6 straight for Pitt. That would have been right on that line. Avery's hit is dug. And the block on Babcock is on the High Point side. And Vasquez Gomez continues to serve.
Throwing this High Point team out of system with her serve, and that makes it a lot easier for the Panthers on the defensive side.
Good dig, and now a tip attempt. Perfect decision by Jade Shelton.
That's a senior leader there for this High Point team coming in. She did transfer in from New Mexico State, but she just has all of that experience playing. So she knew exactly what she was up against with that block and then just going right over top of it.
And just what High Point didn't need, a service error. Panthers now up 8-2.
And that was lucky for the Panthers as well, because Willock went on a number of service runs in this game so far. So pretty lucky there for the Panthers to be able to get her one and done.
Emma Monks. And that's a planned slide, but the Panthers were ready for it, blocked it down. And Monks will get another serve. Anna Wilson, just a redshirt freshman from Ontario. Monks now to serve. And that blocked through by Mayberry. So kill for High Point, her 7th.
But she's been quiet as of late, Jeff. We haven't really mentioned her name a lot, and I think that's why you see the Panthers have a 6-point lead, is because they've been able to hold Mayberry down in the front row.
And a near ace. Vasquez Gomez hits it long, and 2 in a row here for High Point.
A great out-of-system opportunity for the Panthers, just not able to keep the ball in play.
Another good serve by Mayberry. And a block. Jepson and Babcock in on the block. It's 10-4.
Mayberry had Jepson on that last swing attempt, but you knew the next time that Jepson had a chance up at the front for a block, she was going to keep that ball on the High Point side.
Now Babcock's hit Doug. And a tip. Tori Stafford able to power it through, and it's 11-4 Pitt. 8 kills for Stafford.
Now that leads all players. Stafford and Babcock again leading the Panthers in kills, as they did on Thursday night against Oregon, Jeff. Both freshmen had 16 kills.
Babcock's serve is an ace. Mandy, you've been on that other side. Like, it's coming, it's diving. Like, what's the difficulty of trying to dig this serve?
The biggest thing is with that topspin serve, you need to be in front of it. And so if you think that it's going to be close to the end line, you have to get your body all the way around it, or else that ball is not going to go anywhere near target.
And point for High Point. Christine Graff on the swing. And a Wilson to serve now for High Point. And we've seen a couple of service errors this set for High Point.
That makes 8 on the match to go along with just 2 service aces. So 8 errors and 2 aces. The Panthers, not great, but they at least have those 5 aces.
You're going to go for the upset. You got to do those things correctly. Mayberry with the big hit, and Doug, and stayed away from the top of the building so play could continue. Graff, the left-handed tip. Pitt just has to play it over. Chance here for High Point. Mayberry from the back. Out. So a timeout for High Point, as the Panthers have built a 9-point lead here in the third.
And they really are just playing the Pitt Panthers volleyball that we are used to seeing, Jeff. They're really strong offensively. They're getting a lot of touches at the net, which helps their defense and then makes that quick transition to offense even quicker than it usually is. And that just makes High Point be behind the 8 ball, and they just don't have a chance to really impose their will on what they want to do against these Pitt Panthers.
So the Pitt Panthers started the season with the loss at BYU, and you knew BYU was going to be fired up. You knocked them out of the NCAA tournament last year.
You not only knocked them out, you swept them in the NCAA tournament.
And there have been some good back and forth between these two schools. And what a great scheduling on both sides, because it's early challenge. You get some wins. You have a good back-to-back win against home and home with number 21 Kentucky. You play at Marquette and at Loyola, who's an NCAA tournament type program as well. You come home to Oregon. You get down 2-0. You win the next two. It's 15-13 in the fifth. You drop that, but you come right back with James Madison. And it seems like the schedule will do well to prepare the Panthers to where they want to go and take that next step. Not just make the Final Four, but make noise in the Final Four.
And prepare them for what they're going to experience in ACC play, which has grown tremendously over the past couple of years. I mean, right now there's three current teams, including these Pitt Panthers, in the top 10.
And soon to be 4, because Stanford will be in the ACC, an ace for Stafford.
Exactly. So that's the type of talent and the type of teams that you need to prepare yourself for. So if you play teams that aren't that great in your lead up to conference play and non-conference play, then you're not preparing yourself. And that's something that these Pitt Panthers do really well, is prepare themselves, as we see another ace coming from Tori Stafford.
Back-to-back aces for Stafford. She came in with only 3 on the season. We'll see a substitution for High Point.
Evie Eckensberger coming in for High Point.
So with 4 aces today, she's surpassed her season total and then jinxed her into the net.
Yeah, that one's on you, Jeff.
7 aces on the season. It's 16-6. And now High Point just looking to get something going here. Allie Gray to serve, but you can see from High Point, they're going to be someone to contend with in their league this year. Mosley's hit over. Kill attempt in the middle is blocked by Jepson.
And there was a couple of free balls in that play that the Pitt Panthers sent over to High Point, that if you're High Point at this point in the game, you have to terminate those. You can't give the Pitt Panthers an opportunity to send that ball back.
Yeah, it's been a rough third set for the Big South powerhouse here in High Point. Click a serve. Graf's hit is long, unless she was trying to hit the Pitt coaching staff. Maybe she's going after Dan Fisher. I don't believe so. But, just a mishit. It's 12-point lead here for the Pitt Panthers in the third. And what was a really tight first set is really midway in that serve long by Klicka. Really midway towards the end of the second set, it turned, and instead of it starting strong for High Point in the third, Panthers just carried that momentum over.
Pitt rattled off 5 points to finish that second set, and I think that really, really got them going to start. I mean, there is that couple of minute break in between, but knowing that momentum that you had really set them up here into this third set.
And then Vasquez Gomez serving continued with 6 straight to start on her serve. Good dig, but just a little too far.
And that's another freshman in the game for these Panthers, in Blair Bayless, who we didn't see through the first 2 sets. She saw a little bit of action on Thursday as well as last night, but Blair Bayless, again, a part of that highly ranked recruiting class, the highest ranked recruiting class in the history of these Panthers, coming in as the 42nd ranked recruit in the country by Prep Volleyball. And oh yeah, you talk about powerhouse states for volleyball, the 5th best recruit coming out of the state of Texas.
And the 66th best recruit from last year is serving right now for the Panthers in Tautua'a. Vasquez Gomez. Oh, what a nice dig. And tip controlled. And that one is long, and a point to High Point. That point Kennedy Loisel, that dig kept that point alive when it probably shouldn't have been.
And those are the types of things that you need. You might not necessarily be able to come back at this point in the third set, but if you can take those little things away, knowing what you were up against, then that is what can build you as you move forward in Big South competition.
Whistle.
Net violation on High Point, so now the Panthers just 5 points away from taking this third set and the match.
At one point yesterday, what was the score of the third set, Pitt and James Madison?
16-1.
Vasquez Gomez serving at 20-8. And somehow she's back serving again. And a kill in the middle for High Point Anna Wilson.
And that's what you needed to do if you're High Point. You can't let Vasquez Gomez go back there and have another serving run like she did to start this first set. So great job there, getting a good pass, the quick set, and then Wilson able to put it away.
And here's the sophomore Ella Grassen from Middleburg Heights, Ohio, which isn't too far from here. And kill blocked down. Loisel with another point, the freshman from Michigan.
And we've seen a good mix for this High Point team of experienced players, those transfers really contributing, but also the freshmen having a lot of contributions.
And you could see at this point, Ryan Meeks like, hey, I'm going to get some of these young players into this atmosphere. And a kill by the Panthers.
Kat Flood with the kill. The service specialist coming in and getting in on the offensive action.
Second kill of the season for Kat Flood.
Now serving for Pitt, number 16, Dylan Griffin.
As you heard, Griffin in to serve at 21-10. We have not seen Rachel Fairbanks. She's dealing with an injury. So you think that Pitt's been able to do what they've done without Fairbanks. And then you add that back to the lineup when you, hopefully, when you get into ACC
Fairbanks,
play.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, at this point, I mean, it's still early in the season, but as some of those older players on either team, you just really have ailments pretty much every day, no matter what. It just kind of changes from day to day. But this Panthers team, as we've seen today, really knows how to fight adversity.
And kill for Wilson. It's perfectly placed. Yeah, you'll hear coaches say, once the season starts, no one is 100%. You know, when they get asked questions about, hey, is so-and-so 100%? Like, no, nobody's 100%.
No.
It's whether you're able to play or not.
Yeah, it's just a tough sport. And as we talked about, just the turnover from game to game. This is, again, the third match for the Panthers in 4 days. And then they play again on Wednesday.
Babcock just long.
And High Point rattling off a few points here.
Still a big lead for Pitt. And tipped this time by Pitt. Graf sends it over. Chance here for Kat Flood.
Look at Kat Flood filling up the stat sheet there. Her second kill of the afternoon. Now the Panthers just 2 points away, and Olivia Babcock, the excellent top spin server, coming up.
Oh, what a decision in the middle by Tautua'a.
It's one of those things where all day she's been just setting the ball, and then no one was ready for that on the High Point side defensively.
It's that peripheral vision that you can see things that others can't. That's why you're playing at this level on either side. Babcock serves an ace. 25-12. High Point led for a lot of the first and second sets. Panthers went on runs at the end of each of them. The third set, Pitt kind of imposed its will for a 3-0 victory.
And why not finish it on an ace, as the Panthers had 8